Hey guys, it's Bonnie from Dwelling Logs. I have come to you to give you guys a combination of a Going Charlotte Mason week number 12 final recap. We're done our term, how did it go video / my recap and plan. So what I've been trying to do since, when was my first one? Maybe December, is to do a video every month where we kind of recap what we did, recap or plan what we're going to do, and then you can kind of like follow the journey that way, which is really cool. As well as for the last 12 weeks, actually 13, I didn't even realize this. I got mixed up a little bit. We have been trying a more solid traditional Charlotte Mason style after I picked up her book, Home Education, Volume 1. And I really enjoyed reading this book. I was super inspired. So I kind of want to also recap how that's been going, because that's like the big recap that we have to do. And then I'll give you a glimpse into our summer plans. I would love to do maybe a follow-up summer video. I'll show you just kind of a glimpse of like the basic summer plans that are coming as my planning video. But I'm already thinking about the fall, but I think that should be a whole video on its own. So I have so many things that I want to share about, but I was like, I only have, like, I just think like it would be an hour long, the video. So let's just like break it up a little bit. We already have so much to pack into this one. So come along with me and we'll start. We decided to try Charlotte Mason for 12 weeks, turned out to be 13, and see what sticks. Okay. So if you haven't been following along with all the vlogs, 13 weeks ago, we went Charlotte Mason. I read her book and I wanted to try instilling all the principles of Charlotte Mason based on her book. I had read Charlotte Mason vlogs and books, and I thought I knew a lot about Charlotte Mason just based on the people and the curriculums that are out there. But I didn't really want to go for a Charlotte Mason curriculum. We love interest-based learning. I love putting things together myself. I like taking things out, putting things in. I love interest-led learning. I love family-style learning. I don't want to compartmentalize ages and grades. And so what I found though was I have so much in common with Charlotte Mason's values and her love of learning and nature and even some of the classic stuff that I'm starting to really get into that's a little bit newer for me, but I have a real appreciation for older literature. So for that reason, I was like, we have got to try this, but in our own way. I don't see myself ever going for a Charlotte Mason curriculum, but I see myself pulling from resources from all over the place and sort of making it my own. So there's a little piece of me that's a little bit scared of the people who are very like Charlotte Mason to a T families. I will never be that way because I never want to put myself in a box. However, I love so many of the principles, and it's been so fun being more involved in the Charlotte Mason community and being inspired by everyone who is very Charlotte Mason. So that's been awesome. And I will give you guys just a spoiler that we will be continuing in the Charlotte Mason, more Charlotte Mason style, I should say. Because I've always kind of considered myself Charlotte Mason inspired in a lot of different ways. But until I read my book, I didn't quite realize what was Charlotte Mason and what was just common on social media with Charlotte Mason, families. So let's talk about how this last week went. It went really well. What we did is I organized a 12-week term, and it took us 13 weeks to do. We did have a few hiccup weeks, and so I just kind of compiled a list of all the things left on my 12-week term sort of list of timetable. Do you call this the timetable? That's not the right word. Anyway, my term plan. I took all the things that were left that weren't crossed off, and I reorganized them into the last 3 weeks so that we could kind of get all the things done that I wanted to get done, specifically because we had some topical studies that I wanted to wrap up. We didn't need to, get to a certain point in, grammar and geography, but we were doing the theme of the Age of Enlightenment, including the Age of Pirates, and I really wanted to wrap up those resources by the end of this term. So we've been working hard to finish that this week, and we had a really great time. I felt like it wasn't too much. In fact, there was a piece of me that went, man, that really didn't feel like a heavy last couple of weeks, but it turns out that I actually did 2 week 10 vlogs for you guys. So I'm so sorry. I didn't even notice until someone commented. So somehow we got an extra week slid in there, which is why it all worked out very nicely. So there you go. We've learned a lesson. Maybe it's worth adding a week on the end of the term just to enjoy things and not, you know, push too much information too fast and keep that feast delightful. So we got all of that stuff done. We wrapped up our Age of Enlightenment books. I'm not going to go through all the book resources again that we were going through because I feel like I exhausted that in the vlog videos. So if you're interested in exactly what we did, I shared lots of details from week 1 to 12 or to 11 of the specific books that we did. But we did wrap up the Age of Enlightenment resources. We're done math for the year. Grammar is ongoing, so we're just going to hit pause. I do plan for this to be the start of our summer break. A little bit of a history with that. We did 3 summers, schooling year round. And then last summer, we actually had a really rocky year and we all needed a break in many different capacities. Rest for mental, emotional, physical, all the rest. And so we decided to go back to having summer break. So we are doing that again this year. And so this is the 31st of May while I'm recording, and starting June 1st, we are footloose and fancy free. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I'll share with you a little bit of summer plans. I feel like if I said we were year-round homeschooling, I would have probably more for summer, but just our lifestyle of learning, though, is still going to carry on, and we're still going to have things that we want to do and goals to set and whatnot for the summer too. So I'm going to share those with you guys today too. Yeah, so our Bible was done. I'm just looking at our schedule. Everything is crossed off, so that's really good. I wanted to also look back and see kind of how, I wanted to recap how this kind of all started. So I read Charlotte Mason's book. I wanted to go Charlotte Mason. The first place I went to was Ambleside Online. Where's my file? And if you're looking, if you're like me and you're just kind of over, you maybe want to try Charlotte Mason, but you're a little overwhelmed with what resources are typically Charlotte Mason and who out there can inform me, who really knows their stuff, I really highly recommend going to Ambleside Online. And they have terms you can print off. So I printed off a bunch of terms. They separate and categorize like ages or levels, and or maybe it's even forms, because that was Charlotte Mason's way. That's something that I'm leaving behind. I'm compiling. I did 1 term for my whole family, and we did it family style. They also have a whole separate PDF for Canadian resources, because there are, the main ones are US. So if you're looking for good Canadian recommendations, there's a whole PDF of those there too. So I have a bunch of print offs here. So I'm really excited to kind of go through this from the beginning and just see, I haven't looked at these papers since I first started, and just see like how everything developed. I really wanted to use resources that I had already purchased, already had in my home. So I just kind of went with their model of their subject breakdown, and then I kind of put my own stuff in. Anyway, I don't want to go through everything in detail. If you're interested in exactly how I started, go to vlog week 1 and I will walk you through in quite a lot of detail how I did all that. But Ambleside Online is a great resource. Okay. I keep looking down. Okay. Some things that we're taking away that we will be keeping up always, that we really liked, were our habits of when we come across something that has to do with a geographical location, we are always getting out the map. This has been a habit that we've been working to develop, and it is in the works. It wasn't magical overnight. I can't even say that we have that habit solid now. We still have to be like, oh yeah, let's look at the globe. We were better at it this week, last week not so much. So habit of looking at the globe and really getting that visual for mapping, as well as timeline. So I shared with you guys in another week all these books that I created on Amazon, and I wanted to have some Charlotte Mason style notebooks. I know there are other companies or other people who have made them too. I just wanted to make my own. So I did. So these are available on Amazon, but the timeline book especially was something that I really wanted to get in the habit of doing. See if I can. So we would, after we studied someone significant and memorable, we would make a sticker and we put them in here. You could draw in here or whatever, but this is also called a book of centuries in the Charlotte Mason world. So every 2 page is a century. And where's my little mini printer? I bought one of these little mini printers for each of my kids, and so they've been using the mini printer to put stuff in their timeline, and this is also something that we are going to continue to do. This was a win. I kind of wanted to talk in this video too about like what stuff were wins that we loved that I would recommend. So, okay, so the timeline and the globe, those were things that went well. We were doing them better this week, and habits that we were developing. Narration habits, narration is still in the works. That's just telling back what you're learning. I am learning how big of a chunk each child can narrate back to me. And I am learning to be quiet when my kids are narrating. I am learning to stop correcting them when they're narrating. And so I am going through a whole learning curve as well as my kids. So I expect us to keep using narration in life and in reading from now on forever. Like even through the summer, intentionally, I want it to be a part of our life. And so that's a habit that will continue. That's a very like Charlotte Mason thing. Okay, so this last month we did finish Robinson Crusoe. I do have the hardcover. We listened to it on audiobook as well. We probably followed the audiobook with this about halfway through, and then we just started listening to the audiobook, and that was really, really fun. I thought it was definitely a worthwhile classic read. It was recommended by Ambleside Online, and we finished that. Carry On, Mr. Bowditch. I think I shared this one with you guys. I still would like to read it before I recommend it, but this was recommended on a YouTube video that I was watching about Plutarch, and it was saying, oh, if you've ever read Mr. Bowditch, or Bowditch, I'm not sure how you say it. I think every kid should read this, you know, good classic book growing up. And I thought, oh, I've never heard of that one. I'm going to get it. And my son really liked it. I asked him to tell me a little bit about it. He said, it's about a man who goes through quite a bit of tragedy. He loses people in his life. As he was telling me, I thought, okay, I do have friends who are like, their kids probably couldn't handle like, you know, friends and family dying in the book. So that's probably going to be in this book. So just so you're aware, I don't have sensitive kids like that. So I am fine with them reading tragic stuff. And in the end, of course, it does get happy. But anyway, he loved it. It was adventure-y. It fit with our theme of the Age of Enlightenment. He was in the American Revolution era. And I even think there was some sailing and some ships involved. So that was really fun. So as you can see, we were doing like Age of Enlightenment and Age of Pirates because that crosses over in the timeline. And so this was a great book to put with that, as well as the Robinson Crusoe too. What else? Okay, grammar. I think we will be continuing this one. This is Charlotte Mason's own first grammar lessons. It's been quite easy, I'll say, for my oldest, but we're enjoying grammar again. We have pushed pause on Fix-It grammar, and I don't plan to pick it back up yet. I know a lot of people love Fix-It, but it wasn't really, nothing was sticking for my kids with that one. I don't know why, if it was too simple or what, but it was just nothing was sticking. And so we've been really enjoying this one. It's been short, easy, enjoyable. We will be continuing that one. I, myself, am reading Plutarch's Lives. The library just got this one in for me. It's a different translator though. I was reading it, the Dryden's translation myself. And this is somebody else. So I just got this from the library because I wanted a copy. My other copy was from a library in Saskatchewan where we were living for a time and we're not now. So I will try this, but I also have Dryden's translation on Audible. So I've been listening to that. I've been reading this, and then that's for me personally. And then as a family, we've been listening to the Cost of Glory podcast, which I really highly recommend. That this is all depending on how your family feels about sensitive topics, war, death, all of that kind of stuff. Because when we first read Plutarch, I can't remember the line, but I read something, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to read this to my kids. And so that's why I'm really enjoying the podcast that sort of is a retelling in everyday language about it. But I still know families who'd probably be like, I'm not going to read that to my kid. My kid is too sensitive for that. That's just not us. So if you're looking to flag, you know, violence, death, then a lot of classic books might be something that is not something that you're ready for. But that is something that you can know about our home is we're okay with a lot of that, especially if it's historical and has value in morals and in character building. We are getting into even like reading some old fables and stuff like that, whereas nowadays a lot of the old fables are being retranslated, or there's abridged versions that soften them down and stuff like that. So something maybe that you should know about me is that I'm not looking for the softened or watered down versions, but that also has to do with my children. And so they handle stories very well. My boys are very boys. They love all the whatever, swords, fighting, war, all the rest, as well as they're very gentle and they love art too and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll just put that out there that I actually really like Plutarch now. I don't know that my kids would be ready for the actual Plutarch translations, but I'm happy with the podcast. And yeah, I just want to say a little blurb about that. So we're going to continue that. We might listen to Plutarch, the Plutarch podcast, like on car trips and stuff this summer. So that's something that could be in the works. This book was recommended on Ambleside Online, the C.C. Long Home Geography. It's very simple and easy. If you have younger kids, I do recommend this book. It's been nice, it's been light, it's been fun. We're still going to go through it. But like it's, you know, learning north, south, east, west, what are hills, what are plains, just kind of to give you an idea. There's going to be parts of animals, uses of animals, signs for the seasons, wind, you know, that kind of thing. So if you're looking for a very basic geography start, this is a classic Charlotte Mason recommended geography. So happy with this one. We're not through it. We only got 12 lessons in. We did one per week in our term, and we'll keep going with it. So we'll recap that. The other thing that worked really well that I wanted to talk about, that I want to continue, I shared before how we've been doing the Ology for Bible, and I had made printable Bible verses. I didn't bring it here with me, but I made printable Bible verse copywork pages. And what I did, my strategy was, I made these sheets for my oldest son that was the entire verse to copy and trace. And then the next day, it was the entire verse again, minus some of the words that he had to fill in the blanks for, and then trace the copywork the rest. And then the third day, there was even more blanks. And the fourth day, there were even more blanks. And then on the fifth day, he just had note paper to write out his verse. This worked extremely well. I really loved it. And what I did was I chose verses from each lesson in the Ology. So I love that. I'd kind of like to finish that PDF, but go all the way through. I only went 12 lessons in with that memory verse PDF for him. So I decided I wouldn't share it with you guys yet until I got the whole Ology book done, so that you guys could know what goes with this book. So that's kind of not in my front of my priority pile, but it's somewhere in my priority pile to get done for you guys. But something that I would like to change now that we've done this for 12 weeks, I would like to do the same style of copywork and memorization with the blank spaces that increase. But I think I would like to switch to doing passages instead of a verse here and a verse there. Even though it was really nice that the verse went with this, I think I would rather start to do passages. Maybe we'll even start in the Psalms or something like that. So watch for freebies from me on that, because I would love to make some, I would love to share that with you guys for free, the community, with those PDFs. So as I share, probably going into the fall, if I'm making anything for my kids as far as the Bible copy work, I would love to share those with you guys. If you are not already, I will put my website subscription link below, because if you are subscribed, usually any freebies that I give, I email as well. I really try not to email too much, but if you want an avenue that you'll know for sure what's going on, then subscribe to the email list. Or you can hang out here and then I'll talk about it on my YouTube videos and you can catch them. Okay, what else was I going to say? I think that's kind of the recap that I wanted to give for what we've been using, that we're going to keep on using. Age of Enlightenment is done. I should do a whole entire video on recommendations for that time period. If you'd like to see that, let me know. I already think I'm probably going to do it, but it was really a fun period of time to do. And it is the backbone of so much conversation into ethics, morals, God, and the pirates was a fun throw in too. My boys just love that also. So I will try, and maybe before I put all these materials away in my shelf for the summer, maybe I'll do a little video for you guys, just going through everything again. And because there were some things that we started with in our little term that we ended up dropping too. So I'd love to, since we're done now, actually give you recommendations after having done it. Okay, so what else? Okay, so going into the summer, recap is finished. Let's plan. I'm so excited about the summer. So if you missed it, I had shared with you guys my feast planner. So I'm so excited because this is a planner that will walk you through how I planned my term and our style of going Charlotte Mason, family style priorities, interest-led priorities, paying attention to the seasons around you. If you're not going to be using a box curriculum, get this free download, okay? I will link it below. I'll try to come back and make sure I'm getting all these links for you guys, but I will link it below. Oh, you know what? It's on my website. It's free on my website. So go to my website, put it in your cart. It's free there. So the cool thing too about this is I printed out like all these little, or I have included all these little tabs. Is it going to focus there for me? These tabs, so you can actually make like the tabs of your planner work for you there. And then as well as I have some habit cards. So when we were first starting out with Charlotte Mason, I just wanted to have some habit cards out, like literally on the table for, like, these ones are narration, foreign language. This was stuff so that I wouldn't forget to do things during the day, outside, Latin, singing, copy work. And then these ones, I have like some of them, there were two different colors. In my brain, they were two different categories. This one was to make sure we did artist study, timeline, crafts and tinkering. So I just wanted to, basically these were like my notes from reading the Charlotte Mason Volume 1 of like, this is what I want the feast to entail. And if I had these, I could flip them over because the back says done. And once we did these, I could flip them over and I could know, okay, we included that in our feast this week or that day or whatever. So these are included as well. I laminated my copy. These are just for my printer. These ones aren't laminated, but I did laminate my copy because I use them a lot. As well as the PDF for the feast planner also has these really beautiful Charlotte Mason bookmarks with Charlotte Mason quotes on them. Things like perfection required as a matter of course. It is a language and not mere grammar. I tried to do one for like every subject. The reason why of every process is clear to the child. Find 100 opportunities to teach geography, by the way. That's our geography bookmark. We were all meant to be naturalists. And then this side says, never be within doors when you can rightly be without. I love that quote. That's one of my favorites. Absorbing into oneself beautiful thought. Read in a way to bring out its beauty and tenderness. That was recitation. Reading well with expression. A couple hundred pictures in the halls of his imagination. First under artists, lovers of their work, under one master until they know its style. That was music. We were trying to listen to Mozart so much that my kids could pick up Mozart if classical music was playing on like a playlist, which I don't know if they were quite there, but we did listen to a ton of Mozart. And then the last one, unconsciously mold judgments of men and great issues of life. One poet have a year to himself, cultivating the seeing eye, the hearing ear, the generous heart. So for poetry and stuff. So anyway, so you can have these bookmarks too. They're in the printable for the planner. So I will talk more. I talked about this so much already, but it's free. Go and download it and look at it yourself. I have some video QR codes in there too, if you're not understanding how to use the pages. So hopefully that's helpful. So I will be using that and sharing more in detail too for when I do my next year's planning, because I'm really excited to plan. Like, I have ideas for like a few terms and I have to slow myself down. Okay, so for the summer, something that we would like to do, we will be doing this sometimes. My kids are really excited for summer break and I don't want to do anything that's gonna feel like really like school at the moment, so this might have to take a back burner for a little bit. But we actually started this week. It's the Slow Down Guide, 50 Mindful Moments in Nature by Rachel Williams. So the book is here, Rachel Williams' book, but the Slow Down Guide is by Christina at Rooted Home Life. So it was massive. It was in the last bundle. It is on her Etsy shop, now. I will try to link that below, so if you're interested, you can get it. It's like 280 pages, but it's a guide that goes through this book. So you really need to use these together. So we will be using those together, but as well, optional, she has, every lesson in the Slowdown Guide has optional pages to pull from additional books that I do have. So I got the Slowdown book. The only thing I didn't have that I did buy was the Slowdown book and this Handbook of Nature Study. This has been on my bucket list for so long anyways, so once I saw it was in here, I was like, I'll finally buy it this year. It's huge. I wanted to get it spiral bound, and I was like, oh, maybe not. We'll see. Anyways, the Handbook of Nature Study, she does have pages to reference and link in here. So if you have this, definitely pull it out for that. She also has optional pages from these two books. These are the Louis Giglio, How Great Is Our God and Indescribable. We already had them, so I was so excited to see that there's a little note in the corner on which ones to read first before you start out. I love that. The other thing that she does use in there were the Julia Rothman collection books. And not just, this is the Julia Rothman collection, it's the Nature Anatomy, Farm Anatomy, and Food Anatomy. I don't know if she has the food one recommended, but I did have to buy the ocean one. I didn't have to. I did buy the ocean one because it was on her list of things that she might reference. Julia Rothman does not come with spiral bounding. I went and got these bound because these are books that I love to have laid out flat. We were not using them without them being spiral bound. So I took them to my local newspaper and they bound them for me, and it was the best decision I ever made. Well, maybe not ever, but it was a great decision. Anyway, so Julia Rothman books, these aren't things that you have to have for her Slowdown Guide, but you can, and she has references to which pages to go look at that will add to your lesson. The only thing required is the actual Slowdown book. So we're looking forward to doing that once in a while this summer. And probably we will continue it for the fall too. So I'm really loving that. Also, where's my other book? John Merlaz. We started out doing some of his lessons from this Opening the World Through Nature journaling. So at one time I downloaded his PDF for teaching nature journaling. It's free if you get the PDF on, I don't know, it's probably johnmerlaz.com. I'll try to link that below as well. It's a free download, and I thought that's what this was, but it doesn't have the right cover and the pages are different. So this one is Opening the World Through Nature Journaling, Integrating Art, Science, and Language Arts, 2nd edition. So we are starting to go through this with the kids, and I will be just kind of slowly doing this if we want an art day. I'm pretty sure that this was a free download as well from him. But I also have his Nature Drawing and Journaling, The Law's Guide to Nature Drawing and Journaling. So we would like to get into a little bit more of nature journaling. Actually, it's May 31st. If you're watching this, like soon, June 1st to 7th is International Nature Journaling Week, and John Merlaz is often involved with that. I believe it's internationalnaturejournalingweek.com. I will link that below too, but they usually have a wonderful free conference with like free art lessons and nature talks and discussions and stuff like that. I've participated for a few years, so I'm really excited that that is coming up. So June, it's always the first week of June is always International Nature Journaling Week. So it's really cool. Okay. Summer, summer, summer. All right, what else do we have? Oh yes, my wilderness first aid pack. This is it on my site yet? I better get it on my site if it's not on my site. I'm sure it is. Okay. I made a wilderness first aid family lesson because the last bundle was wilderness and forest school themed. Survival and forest school themed. So I thought wilderness first aid would be a great fit. I would like to go through this really thoroughly with my kids. It's got lots of role play in it. It's looking fun, and I I found it so useful to know all this information. I've taken first aid before, but it was different and really fun to do some writing on it as far as like from a wilderness perspective. So we're going to go through that this summer, probably right away. And the other thing that I picked up from my library was a whole bunch of the first Beatrix Potter books. So I think we have the first 12 at home. So I'm really excited to go through these. We've already read 3 of them. And I was listening to a podcast about, can't remember if it was Charlotte Mason or classical education. It might have been a classical podcast, but they talk about Charlotte Mason there too. And one of the things that they recommended to start out with classical literature, even if you have older children, is to start off with the Beatrix Potter books. Some of the classical literature that you get into as you go with older children is pretty heavy and deep, and you have to think about meaning while you're reading, and it's like older language and stuff like that. And sometimes what they were talking about on this podcast is sometimes that's too much if you haven't grown up reading classical literature. And so one of the things that they talked about even getting middle schoolers to do is to start with the Beatrix Potter books. After this, our plan would be to do Aesop's Fables, which is probably going to be in my fall, like start of the school year video. So anyways, I thought that was delightful. And yeah, so I think it's really good. I grew up with these in my house, but I don't remember a lot of the stories. So I was excited to get these. So we're going to start and go through this whole series before we go to Aesop's Fables, but we might do those next. So summertime, Beatrix Potter. And I do even have, I know from bundles, I have at least 2 PDF resources that have to do with Beatrix Potter. I'm pretty sure we did a Peter Rabbit study, but there is another one that I remember seeing, but I didn't print it out because I didn't plan to do Beatrix Potter with my children back then. But it's in my digital library because I'm a bundle hoarder. So yeah, I have all those resources. Anyways, so that is basically our summer plan for material that I gathered. We would also like to read the Green Ember series again. My kids asked for that, and we love the Green Ember series. If you're looking for a book series to read with your kids that's action adventure, there is sword fighting, there is tragedy, but there's no magic, and I really appreciate that because I just do. So I recommend that series to everyone. I love the story. There's plenty of books, so it's not one that you'll just eat up and be done right away. And I really appreciated the way the author just did it and the quality of writing and whatever. I did not expect to like it because it's like rabbits and their enemies are wolves and birds. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, you know. And even the name, I was like, oh, is it going to be like a bunch of sorcery and stuff? But it's not. So I was really pleased. I highly recommend the Green Ember. Long as you're okay with the sword fighting and the, like, you know, death or whatever. Like, I think the main character's parents die quite early in the book, and they lose friends in their battles for justice and right standings and whatnot. So we'll read Green Ember again. In other news, summer plans, I guess, as we're doing like a plan for the summer, we have a swim week come up. Every summer we go to the lake for a week of outdoor lake swimming lessons. So I think it's like the last or second last place in my province that does that in the summer. So we're really fortunate to be by a lake that does those. So we go camping, just myself and the kids for a week, and we have some other friends that do it too. And we just go to the beach all day and watch the kids do swimming lessons, and we pack lunches and we play in the sand, and it's really good. It's actually probably my most restful, relaxing time in the year. It's more restful and relaxing than like holidaying with my whole family on a camping trip on our own. So I love it. What else? We will be doing some more family camping. We farm, so a lot of our summer is like grain farming. So a lot of our summer is planting, harvest, spraying, all the rest. So that's going to be part of our summer stuff. Garden is well underway. There's going to be lots of life schooling in the garden this year. I'm really excited. All the companion planting. If you're looking for a garden planner, that's free on my website too still. I know it seems like a little late to plan for this year. Well, maybe not. I still know some people who haven't planted yet. But if you're looking to plan your garden or even plan for next year, you can go and check that out. I'm trying to think. I'm like, I think maybe this is done. So that, I think I did the recap, the plan, how week 12 went. We're so excited about doing more Charlotte Mason style things. We're so excited to build upon the habits that we've started. I think if I had to like recap that portion of it, if you're starting out Charlotte Mason for the first time, like going with all the different habits, not just like how I was before. I thought we were kind of Charlotte Mason. I would say give yourself grace. Actually, I had a friend of mine message me when I was first talking about this, and she's like, just be prepared for, like, you can't just try it for a week because there's all these habits to form. So you can't just like be like, this isn't working for us, throw in the towel. And I was really glad for that encouragement. At first I was like, well, of course we won't just try it for a week. But I understand that encouragement now, because even after 12 weeks, these habits are still in development. We haven't formed them fully yet. And so I'm really excited to just keep continuing that and increase that. So I would really encourage you to, first of all, read Charlotte's Volume 1, not just books about Charlotte Mason. And then also I would encourage you to try it for quite a chunk of time, and enjoy it, and try to enjoy it, and not do like a checkbox idea. That is something that I have been trying to pull away from, because I'm not usually a planner or a scheduler. When I made my timetable and my term, to me, that brought me back to checkboxes, which I kind of stayed away from because I don't like it when boxes are not checked. And so part of my inward struggle has just to be like, it's okay. Plus the vlog here is like, I gotta get it done because we're gonna be vlogging and whatever. But if you watch them all, you'll see that not every week was perfect, that's for sure. But anyways, so I think that is something that I need to continue to grow in to myself, is to not worry about the habits so much. I feel like my impression overall is that Charlotte Mason homeschooling is very similar, way more similar than I thought, to classical homeschooling. But there is an element, the way Charlotte writes, there's an element to Charlotte Mason homeschooling that I think encourages the slow and the soak in, more so than what I know or what information I've consumed about classical homeschooling. A lot of classical homeschoolers I know have more rigor in their routines. Not to say that that's every classical homeschooler, because I don't know that much about it. But I just feel like when I read Charlotte's book, I felt like she has so many similarities to classical homeschooling, but she really believed in nature being a great teacher, and the slow and the soak in and stuff. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Those are my recap and plans, and I hope I didn't babble on too long here. I better post this because I think this is getting pretty long. But I will come back and I will do a Age of Enlightenment recommendations video, and I will do a what we have on the plans for next year too. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.